Dream team for round 4 of the Six Nations. There was one score which was pretty lopsided. Another game which had very one-sided ball stats in terms of possession and territory. And one game which was a proper game of two halves. So it's a bit of a mixture here. But I picked 15 players that I thought were pretty good. And you guys can let me know your thoughts at the end to see who missed out. Because again, as always, there's always plenty of big names who do miss out when you've only got 15 spots. But we'll get started with the props. I have gone for a Scotsman in Dell. It seems like I've got a thing for him because it's not the first time I've picked him in my dream team. He had 5 runs, 35 metres, which is exceptional for a prop. I believe he had one particularly big run. Beat a defender, had a clean break. A clean break for a prop is always impressive. 3 passes, and again, one thing that impresses me about him is his work rate. 12 out of 13 tackles, so he's putting in a good shift. 10 plus anytime for a prop is good, and only the one miss, which is also very good. Also managed a turnover, and unlike the game against France, he did not concede a single penalty. So when you're up against one of the better forward packs in World Rugby, it is good to hold your own and not get kind of under the pump. So a good effort from him. Second, I've picked Thomas Francis from Wales. Another very kind of solid effort from him. He has put in a few good efforts. He doesn't get talked about as much as some of the other props around in World Rugby. This guy is always just kind of a rock, it seems, and doesn't concede a whole lot of penalties himself. 3 runs for 3 metres is more like it for a prop. That's kind of what we expect in terms of run meters. Beat a defender, had 2 passes, also made an offload, and likewise had 13 out of 13 tackles, so very solid defensively. And Wales needed to be solid defensively, so he was part of that, and also managed a turnover. Good effort there. Hooker, I have gone with Jamie George from England. If you thought kind of Francis's 3 runs for 3 metres was an impressive stat, you should check out all the ones for Jamie George. 1 run, 1 metre, 1 try, 1 pass, 1 try assist. That was from the pass, and it was a magnificent pass at that. 1 turnover conceded, which is not a good stat you want. And then the rest was 14 out of 15 tackles, very good effort, and line out was at 100%. So beautiful hands to set up that try. Scored a try of his own by managing only to go 1 metre from the back of a maul. Solid scrum, good line out, good defence, missed 1 tackle. So a week of ones for Jamie George. Is he going to be England's first choice, number 2, heading forward? It's going to be hard to displace at this point, but we'll see. Next, from England, I've gone with George Kruis. He had 3 runs for 10 metres, which is not bad for a lock. He managed a try. He probably should have had a try assist because it was him getting that charge down that let Brad Shields get a try. So he was still full on into the game right towards the death. So he was kind of showing a bit of good work rate as well. Had 2 passes, and again 16 out of 18 tackles. I do like guys who don't shy away from the defensive game, and Kruis was doing a wee bit of everything in this one. Speaking of work rate, James Ryan is pretty much the poster boy for I like working hard and making lots of tackles and running the ball into contact. He doesn't shy away from any of that. He had 20 metres from 19 runs. So he wasn't getting that far per run, but boy did he want to keep running that ball. He had 2 defenders beaten, 3 passes, also made 13 out of 14 tackles, which doesn't sound like a huge amount. Some guys get 20 plus. But that's 13% of all Ireland's tackles made in that whole game. When you consider you've got 23 guys in your squad, for one guy to be getting more than 10%, almost 15%, it shows you just what he's all about. He's kind of a coach's dream player, that guy. Next, in the loose forwards, I have gone with Brad Shields from England. Is this the best game I've seen him play for England? Sure, it's against Italy. You're gonna classify everything with who the opposition was, but I'm not going to take that away from him because he certainly put in a good performance. 10 runs for 55 meters is ridiculous stats. 3 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 3 passes, one of which was forward and perhaps cost a try, but in the scheme of things, he was everywhere. 20 out of 20 tackles. England were playing without the ball. They like to play territory, so the fact that they made lots of tackles is I guess, to be expected. But that was the number 1 tackler for the whole game. So, yeah, another one that's going to be very pleasing for the coach. Another loose forward, I got with CJ Stander from Ireland. And this is the CJ Stander who we all kind of know and love. He was inflicting some pain over the weekend. 18 runs, which was the number 1 run getter or run maker of the weekend. Of all 3 games, nobody ran the ball into contact more than CJ. Oh, except for James Ryan. I'm not believing my own stats. Ryan had 19. Stander had 18. 29 run meters. 3 defenders beaten. 7 passes. 1 try assist. 12 out of 14 tackles, which was only 1 behind James Ryan. Remember I talked about his stats being so high. And even got a turnover amongst all that. So, yeah, when that guy's in form, he's making other people's life a misery. And, yeah, poor France, I suppose. Next, going with Justin Tipuric from Wales. Now, his effort is largely without the ball, because his with the ball stats, 2 runs for no meters and 5 passes. There's nothing to write home about. And I actually read a wee bit about Tipuric getting criticised for saying he's not up to his usual standards for this game. The guy made 25 out of 25 tackles. And on 1 minute you'll read something where they say, Wales' defence, how magnificent was the defence? And then they say, Tipuric wasn't that good. Number 1 tackler, 25 tackles out of 25, not a single miss. Phenomenal. Backs, I've gone with Antoine Du Pont from France. And hopefully you'll see why in a minute. Even though they didn't have that much ball, he had 10 runs, 2 meters, and he does look like he should be starting 9 for most France games from here on out, doesn't he? It seems to be an improvement with him there. 10 runs, 2 meters, yeah, nothing special. 5 defenders beaten. How do you beat 5 defenders and only make 2 meters? I'm not sure. 45 passes, I guess for a number 9 it's expected. He also managed an offload. 11 out of 13 tackles is good for a 9 when you get targeted for that kind of thing. And he put in some big hits. Like he put a big hit on Sexton at one point to take him over into touch. But 4 turnovers for a number 9. Impressive. Like that's David Pocock level of turnovers. So, yeah. Very impressive for a number 9. In a French team that was on the back foot for so much of that game, for him to still stand out, I guess kind of speaks volumes for him. Fly half, I've gone with Johnny Sexton from Ireland. He didn't play that long. He played just under an hour. But it was kind of nice to see him. Not perfect, not his best performance ever, but kind of starting to look sharp. And Ireland were looking sharper in a number of areas. But 9 runs, 35 metres is good. 2 defenders beaten, a clean break, a try, which was a sweet little worked move. He was a key part in that. 7 from 7 tackles and a turnover. Kicked pretty well. And yeah, it's just nice to see him back playing well. And when he plays well, generally you think Ireland go pretty well. When that 9 and 10 combo gets going, very hard to stop. Into the midfield, I have gone with Headley Parks from Wales. His with the ball numbers aren't as good as they were in a previous week where I picked him. He had 8 runs for 14 metres, 1 defender beaten, 1 clean break, 8 passes and an offload. But 17 tackles out of 19. And again, it's about Wales holding. They needed to hold. Guys needed to step up. And they don't get written about that well when they're defensively being sound. It's more about when they're getting turnovers or getting line breaks. That's the kind of stuff that makes the headlines. But there's another side to the game, and you've got to be good at it, and Wales certainly are. He also managed to turnover. But those 17 out of 19 tackles, that's the number 1 for any back throughout the weekend. Anybody in the back line, that's the most tackles made, unless I've somehow missed one again, like I did with that other one for Stander and Ryan. But at least when I checked, it seemed correct. Next, I've gone with Manu Tuilangi from England. What a performance from this guy. He's back in full and dangerous form. 2 tries, 1 try assist, 8 runs for 82 metres. Anytime you're getting 10 metres per run, you're having a good game. 4 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks, 3 passes, and offload. Only called on to make 2 out of 3 tackles, but with the ball, he was just devastating and making the Italians' night a very unpleasant one. That's what he does best. Outside backs, I have gone with Keith Earls from Ireland. He scored a try, which was again a pretty sharp little move. 5 runs for 51 metres. The same thing I was saying with Tuilangi. When you can get an average of running 10 metres with the ball per run, you know you're doing something right. And he just looked sharp. Like often you're looking at Stockdale, but I thought Earls probably outshone him a bit in this game. Not just that he got a try, but every time he got the ball, he looked like he was going to do something dangerous. 5 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 2 passes, made 1 from 1 tackle, so 100% there. And also took 1 quick line out. So he was just, putting in a very good effort. Another guy who probably doesn't get talked about as much as he should, but very classy player. Elliot Daly for England, 8 runs, 55 metres, 4 defenders beaten, a clean break, 7 passes, and an offload, plus a try assist. Not called upon to make any tackles. 0 from 0. I suppose that's kind of a read on that way that game went, how one-sided it was. But yeah, he's been pretty consistent throughout the Six Nations for England, and I guess long may that continue. But to be fair, if you're talking about England outside backs, you'd have to go for Big Joe Thokana-Singer. I think he was man of the match in this one. 8 runs for 108 metres. Talk about hard to contain. 4 defenders beaten, 5 clean breaks. His number of clean breaks is more than his number of defenders beaten. It's usually the other way around. 4 passes, 2 offloads, got a try assist, which he watched while standing on his head. Managed the turnover. Also, 9 out of 11 tackles for a winger is a very good return. If you look at Earls, got 1 and Daly got none, so outside backs getting tackles is not all that common a thing. He was just putting work all around the park. Hopefully we get to see a wee bit more of him going forward as well. So yeah, those are my 15 players from the weekend that I thought were pretty nice. They're by no means the be-all and end-all. I mean, Ringrose looked very good. Farrell looked good. Ruzza from Italy, if I was going to put anybody from Italy in, it would have been him. The big lock. Watson, when he came on for Scotland, if I was picking a bench team, he's probably the number 1 guy because I think he led Scotland's tackle breaks and he came off the bench, so he was devastating. Bamba for France, the big prop. Felt sorry for him. He had to come back on, looking rather like he'd been in the wars. When one of the other props got yellow carded, he had to come on, and the scrum looked a bit more solid with him on. Lambe from France also made a whole heap of tackles. I think he was probably the number 1 tackler of the weekend. I think it was like 28. But yeah, those are my 15. You guys let me know your thoughts and who else you might have had in, kind of key performers. And I'll talk to you again soon. See you guys later.